就是在婚礼前一天晚上出去跟前任聚了一下，然后当天
It was just the night before the wedding. I went out to meet my ex. That night, we drank a lot, and since it was already very late, I was afraid it wasn't safe to go back, so I didn't return home. The next day, my fiancé directly canceled the wedding. He told me, "From now on, you are completely free." Isn't such a man way too domineering, way too petty? We weren't even married yet. What right did he have to control me? Don't you all agree?
我今天刷了一条视频，说北京的一个女子在结婚的
Today I saw a video. It said that in Beijing, a woman, the night before her wedding, actually went out drinking with her ex and stayed out all night. The groom found out, had questioned her, "Why would you do this?" But to his shock, the woman righteously replied, "Before marrying you, I am still free. You don't have the right to control me yet." The groom nearly exploded with anger. He immediately canceled the wedding. Later, her good friend explained, the woman, knowing she was about to get married, still couldn't let go of her ex in her heart. She thought, this was my youth. So she called him out the night before the wedding, thinking she would give her youth a final goodbye. But unfortunately, the groom discovered it. He was furious and asked, "If you still have him in your heart, then why marry me? Do you think that's fair to me?" But the woman didn't care at all. She replied, "Before holding the wedding, we are both free people. Who I meet has nothing to do with you." The man could immediately see this woman's values were twisted. She was not worth spending so much money, not worth giving a bride price to marry. What should he marry such a woman home as an ancestor? Just to worship and raise? Yes, canceling the wedding was embarrassing, but the days ahead are his own life. So the groom, with determination, told her, "Our wedding is canceled. From now on, you are completely free. Do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with me anymore." The woman at first thought he was bluffing, but the man meant it. He truly canceled everything. In the end, the woman collapsed in tears. But it was useless. So let me ask you all, wasn't this woman bringing it upon herself? Wasn't she digging her own grave?
真不知道我男朋友为什么会因为这点小事就把婚礼给取消了。昨天
I really don't understand why my fiancé would cancel the wedding over such a small matter. Yesterday was supposed to be our wedding day. But suddenly, my ex showed up. After all, I had dated him for 5 years. I just wanted to have a proper goodbye. I thought it was nothing serious, so I told my fiancé about it. He said, "Don't you know what day it is? If you go today, that proves I was never in your heart." At the time, I didn't take it seriously. I thought my fiancé had a good temper, that even if he was angry, he wouldn't hold it against me. So I went to the dressing room and chatted with my ex for 20 minutes. But when I came out, I was stunned. The hall was empty. Only cleaning ladies were sweeping the floor. That's when I realized my fiancé had canceled the wedding. I quickly called him. I said, "We were only together for 20 minutes. Nothing happened at all. Why can't you believe me?" But he said, "You don't need to explain. The moment you chose to meet him, we were finished. And now, you must return the entire bride price, taili, to me. I honestly feel this is too much. Nothing happened between us. And yet, just for this small matter, he wants to break the engagement. Now what should I do?"
先看个视频。
这是婚礼前一天晚上和前任出去聚。
Let's watch this video first. It was the night before the wedding. She went out to meet her ex. That night, they drank a lot. And because it was very late, and she was afraid it wasn't safe, she didn't return home. The next day, her fiancé canceled the wedding on the spot. And she said, "I feel this man is way too domineering, too petty, too full of male chauvinism. We weren't even married yet. How could he control me like this?" Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
铲袜不相接，手提金缕鞋。
Ha ha ha, a pair of mismatched socks. Carrying golden threaded shoes. In the painted hall, the sword cannot be judged. No one trembles at the sight. I have not even come out yet. How can I give pity to a gentleman? A single red apricot branch leans low over the wall. If good things face no obstacles, then joy and sorrow are but commonplace. But meeting an ex before the wedding, drinking all night, even staying overnight, this really is, if you don't see it, you won't know. The world is indeed strange. Morality discarded. Shame forgotten. Playing with fire. Living only for the thrill. Especially this woman's words so hard, so stubborn, listeners were dumbfounded, covered in her own scandals, yet accusing others of mischief. Is this the failure of family upbringing? Or the complete erasure of conscience? Is it too much open-mindedness? Or simply lack of intelligence? Unable to let go of old feelings? Or just insatiable greed like a snake swallowing an elephant? With a new love, still obsessed with the old. Eating today's meal, while still craving yesterday's leftovers. Not even afraid of poisoning herself. This is no longer about morality. This is shamelessly planting green hats on someone's head and then blaming him for being narrow-minded. If the groom hadn't canceled the wedding, he would surely face a lifetime of betrayal. One may choose not to love, but one should never choose to hurt. Ask yourself honestly, isn't this going too far? To live with no bottom line at all? Such people are truly rare. When nothing's happening, take a moment of self-reflection. Don't continue down such reckless paths. As the saying goes, don't mess around with love. Don't joke around with marriage. If you keep fooling around, there will never be a good ending.
结婚当天取消婚礼，真的是太让人震惊了。
Canceling a wedding on the wedding day itself, truly shocking. More bizarre than any television drama. A 26-year-old young man actually had the rationality to do this. Just thinking about it makes people shiver. On the very day of his wedding, not only did he refuse to marry his fiancée, he also openly humiliated her and her entire family. In the end, it turned into a complete farce. With everyone hurt, here's how it happened. This morning, I met with a wealthy gentleman. He came looking at villas worth over 10 million yuan, approximately equals 1.4 million USD. His clothing, demeanor, all very lavish. A gold chain as thick as a finger around his neck. He told me a story. His son had a girlfriend, and they had reached the stage of marriage discussions. At first, the woman's family asked for a bride price of 188,000 yuan, approximately equals 26,000 USD. In Sichuan, that is considered relatively high, but the father thought, raising a daughter isn't easy. So he readily agreed. Later, the woman's parents learned that the man's family was very wealthy, and that they were straightforward and generous. So they suddenly changed their demand. 1 month before the wedding, they raised the bride price to 880,000 yuan, approximately equals 123,000 USD. The father didn't know this. The woman only told the son. The son, without hesitation, agreed. At first, I thought this son must truly love his fiancée. But then, he set 2 conditions. The wedding date must be moved up 20 days. The 880,000 yuan bride price must be paid in cash, handed over on the wedding day. The father still knew nothing. On the wedding day, instead of arriving with a full wedding procession, the groom came with just a doctor friend, driving a camper van. The bride's side immediately felt something was wrong. "Where's the wedding convoy?" they asked. Then came the shocking twist. The groom demanded his doctor friend conduct a physical check to see if the bride was still a virgin. If she was, he would immediately call in the wedding cars and hand over the 880,000 yuan in cash. If not, the wedding would be cancelled. The young man knew perfectly well that, before being with him, his fiancée had lived with another boyfriend. The bride's parents were furious. They confronted him in front of all the guests, but the groom calmly replied, "At first, when you asked for 188,000 yuan, I felt you were marrying off a daughter, but then you raised it to 880,000 yuan. Without reason. That made me feel you were doing business. If it's a business transaction, then I must inspect the goods. If the goods aren't worth the price, then there's no deal." With that, he turned and left. The bride's mother fainted on the spot and had to be rushed to the hospital. The groom told his best man, "No need to send out the wedding candy. This marriage is off." When the father told me this story, I couldn't help but draw in a sharp breath. Thank heavens I'm not in business with him. Otherwise, I'd need 10 heads to calculate against him. Today's rich second generation are far sharper than people imagine.
朋友们好，我是老宋，欢迎朋友们来看老宋侃大山。先说个题外话啊，老宋现在
Hello friends, I'm Old Song. Welcome to another session of Old Song Talks. Quick side note, Old Song has started live streaming. Please follow my Douyin account when you have time, and check out my shop window too. Your support means a lot. Thank you. Now back to the main story. Recently online, I saw this incident. On their wedding day, a bride and groom had everything ready, but the bride's ex-boyfriend of 5 years showed up. When the bride saw him, she thought, "We once had such deep feelings." She wanted to give him a formal farewell, to make closure. The groom said no. "We're getting married today. Why would you do this?" But the bride ignored him. Maybe because the groom had always been obedient, gentle, accommodating, so she didn't take his feelings seriously. She went anyway. She and her ex spent 20 minutes alone in the dressing room, but when she came out, she was shocked. The groom had canceled the wedding. He told her, "The moment you entered that room with him, we were finished." Now, people have debated this online. Was the bride too excessive? Or was the groom too petty? Here's Old Song's opinion. First, bride, you dated your ex for 5 years. Why did you break up? Didn't you say goodbye back then? Why wait until the wedding day? If you wanted closure, you had years to do it. Why insist on today? Unless, of course, your love never truly ended. Unless you two never wanted to part in the first place, but were forced apart. In that case, what kind of farewell is this? Tearful hugs? If not this life, then the next? And where does that leave the groom? Second 20 minutes alone. What were you doing for so long? A handshake and take care takes 1 minute, not 20. Even if nothing improper happened, what does a farewell look like? A final hug? A final kiss goodbye? That's what dramas show. Tell me what groom could accept. His bride, in wedding dress, embracing or kissing her ex on their wedding day? Third, the groom had already clearly objected. Yet the bride ignored him. Did it anyway. So where did that put him in her heart? Less important than her ex? Even if you promise. This was the last time. How can he ever trust you? Therefore, in my opinion, if this story is true, the groom was right. He wasn't wrong at all. The bride made the mistake, and her ex even more so. Friends, do you agree with Old Song? That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please follow Old Song. See you next time.
女子在婚礼的前一天晚上跑去和前男友见面，并且一晚上没回家。
A woman, on the night before her wedding, Tay ran out to meet her ex-boyfriend and didn't come home all night. The next day, she found out the groom had canceled the wedding. The woman cried angrily, "I haven't even married you yet. This is my freedom. I just met my ex to say goodbye to the past. We didn't do anything." The man, however, firmly told her, "The wedding is canceled. From now on, you're completely free. Meet your ex as many times as you want. Say goodbye as many times as you want. It has nothing to do with me." Seeing the man's decisiveness, I couldn't help but quietly give him a thumbs up. I admire this type of man. No hesitation, no long-winded excuses. Direct and sharp. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to be treated like a fool. It's not enough that you insult my dignity. Now you insult my intelligence too. An adult woman meets her ex, doesn't come home for the whole night, and then claims nothing happened? Maybe I'm cynical, but I don't buy that for a second. If this could be brushed aside so easily, then in the future, wouldn't he end up wearing a grassland of green hats? In my view, this woman shouldn't have gone to say goodbye to her ex. She should have gone back to reconcile with him. Because clearly, her ex is the one whose values align with hers. A woman who, on the eve of marriage, runs to meet her ex, whether in character or self-control, already has serious problems. And the man who knowingly spends the night with a woman about to marry another, he too has no morals or integrity. That's why the two of them are actually a perfect pair. Why break up at all? They should stay together forever. Loving, clinging, inseparable. In fact, I'd even suggest rotten meat should rot in the same pot. Don't go harming other people anymore.
先看个视频。婚礼前一天晚上和前任出去聚了一下。
Let's watch this. On the night before the wedding, she went out to meet her ex. That night, she drank a lot, and because it was late, she said she didn't come home for safety reasons. The next day, my boyfriend directly canceled the wedding. I just feel this man is too domineering, too petty, too much of a male chauvinist. We weren't even married yet. Why does he think he has the right To control me? If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
哈哈，婚前找前男友喝酒，而且
Going to meet your ex before marriage? Drinking with him? And even staying the night. Truly, the world is full of bizarre things. Dignity gone. Shame discarded. Living for thrills, especially the boldness of this woman's words. So tough, so hard. Listeners were shocked, covered in scandal herself, yet accusing others of making trouble. Is this the failure of family education? Or a complete erasure of conscience? Is it over open-mindedness? Or just lack of intelligence? Can't forget old feelings? Or just insatiable greed? Like a snake trying to swallow an elephant? With a new love, yet still longing for the old. Eating today's food, while still craving yesterday's leftovers. Not even afraid of making herself sick. This is no longer a matter of morality. This is shamelessly planting green hats on another's head, then blaming him for being narrow-minded. If the man hadn't canceled the wedding, surely the green hats in his future would have been endless. One may choose not to love, but one must never choose to hurt. Ask yourself honestly, isn't this going too far? To live with no bottom line at all, that is rare indeed. When nothing is happening, take time for self-reflection. Don't continue such reckless behavior. As the saying goes, don't make a mess with love. Don't joke around with marriage. If you keep fooling around, there will never be a good ending.
女孩子刚刚结婚，老公很不错，两个人也很恩爱。但是呢，她大学时候呢，
A young woman had just gotten married. Her husband was very good to her, and they were affectionate, but back in university, she had an ex-boyfriend. That relationship had been pure, perhaps unforgettable, so she still remembered it deeply. One day, that ex came to Shanghai on business. He reached out. Congratulations on your marriage. I'm in Shanghai. Let's have a meal sometime. The woman came to me for advice. Should I meet him? I told her directly. Don't go. Just reject him. Tell him you don't have time. Don't meet. But she didn't listen. She secretly went to see her ex anyway. Her husband didn't know. But if he ever found out, how would he react? Think carefully. You're already married. You must fully consider your husband's feelings. No husband would be happy knowing his wife secretly went to meet her ex. And the ex-boyfriend himself, he's also at fault. If you want to be a qualified ex, you should never disturb your ex's married life. One phone call, one invitation, Tection Pavan88's talk might be enough to plant suspicion and ruin a happy marriage. Yes, it may feel satisfying for him. Oh, even though she's married, she still came out to meet me. But that satisfaction comes at the cost of another family's happiness. Some people say, if you want to go, just tell your husband openly. But be honest, if your husband's university ex came to town and he told you, I'm going to have dinner with her, would you be happy? You might say, I'm not that petty. But deep down, you wouldn't feel comfortable either. Marriage hikid is empathy. Some women say, fine, I'll just take my husband along to the dinner. But if you still want to prove something by showing off your husband to your ex, then clearly you haven't let go. If you truly don't care, you'd simply refuse the ex's invitation. The truth is, many people, after marriage, still secretly meet exes. But the outcome is never good, even if nothing happens. Once your spouse finds out, trust is broken. Seeds of doubt are planted. The marriage is never the same again. That's why every relationship must be handled cleanly. When one ends and another begins, don't drag the old into the new. Otherwise, you're not being responsible to yourself, not being responsible to your partner, and not being responsible to the relationship. Sometimes a happy marriage is destroyed by just one phone call from an ex. That's why I say, cut off ties with exes completely. Treat them as history, as if they don't exist.
哎，这是谁的？
又不是你的，关你啥事儿啊？
Whose business is it of yours? It's not yours. Why do you care? Shut up. You don't even have the right to speak to me. Viewers, have you ever witnessed such a jaw-dropping, absurd dog blood scene? What could make this man roar like that on stage? Let's watch together. This is more dramatic than any Douyin short video. 2 years ago, this same man stood proudly as a groom. But right before the wedding, his fiancée ran away. The groom cried bitterly, like the tragic male lead in a television drama. After countless days and nights searching, he finally found her again. Could they really resume their old love? But then didn't this mean she ran away from the wedding? Because she was already carrying another man's child? When he showed up, full of hope, asking to reconcile, his current girlfriend suddenly delivered a devastating blow, shattering all of his illusions. She exposed that his ex already had a child he had never even heard of. The revelation hit like a thunderclap. He collapsed, demanding loudly, "Where did this child come from? You think he treated you badly? Ask yourself first if you treated him well." But the ex chose silence. She didn't want an innocent child to become a casualty of their quarrel. Her silence only inflamed the man's anger and suspicion. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't believe that his ex had betrayed their 2 years together. Meanwhile, his current girlfriend, unable to secure his affection, blamed everything on the ex. So she took matters into her own hands, personally investigating the truth. She secretly traveled to the ex's hometown. And what did she find? The ex already had a child over a year old. This shocked the current girlfriend to no end. She saw a little girl calling an elderly woman grandma. What did this mean? She realized the truth. The man she loved had been deceived for 2 years. Determined to make him give up, she revealed the secret in front of everyone, forcing the ex to face the questions. The man questioned why she had run away. She stayed silent. His emotions exploded. Who is the father of the child? But still, she wouldn't answer. The quarrel escalated. The atmosphere grew heavier and heavier. Everyone wanted to know the truth, yet everyone feared the pain it would bring. I don't want to know, but I must know, is it his or not? Finally, the ex opened her mouth. She admitted the child was hers, but the father was not him. She explained, after running from the wedding, she discovered she was pregnant, but she had lost all faith in that man's behavior, so she chose to raise the child alone. She didn't want to entangle with him again. She didn't want the child to suffer harm. Hearing this, the man went silent. He couldn't accept it. Yet he knew there was nothing he could change. In pain, he lowered his head and said nothing. The ex turned and left, determined. She didn't want her past to bring more suffering. As the child's true parentage emerged, the revelation stunned everyone present. The man was horrified. He had suspected her of cheating, but the truth was more complicated. Crushed, he never imagined he would face fatherhood in such a way. Was this human nature twisted? Or morality collapsing? How could 2 people on the verge of marriage end up in such distrust? The ex, however, grew steadier. She told him, "Please leave my life. Don't disturb me anymore." She had lost her job and much else, but she had gained a child. She only wanted to give her child a healthy environment to grow up in. The man stood on stage, completely at a loss. He bowed deeply to her, then left silently. After calming himself backstage, he returned to the stage, but his face was still heavy with pain. I must remind everyone, legally speaking, he will always be the father of this child. The host, watching these former lovers, sighed. He told the man, even though she won't acknowledge you as the father, from a biological standpoint, you still bear responsibility. The woman, however, was firm. She turned her back and walked away, without hesitation. At this point, what do you, the viewers, think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. In recent years, official statistics in China have shown a continuous decline in marriage rates. In 2023, the number of registered marriages dropped to just 6.8 million couples, the lowest level in more than 30 years. At the same time, divorces surged, with over 2.8 million cases recorded in the same year. These are not just numbers, they reflect a crisis of trust, the erosion of family values, and the distortion of love and marriage in today's society. And this is the real China social trends today, a society facing the weakening of its family foundation. But if we look back, the answer is not far away. For thousands of years, Eastern traditions have emphasized loyalty, responsibility, and filial piety. When a family is built on respect, honesty, and mutual understanding, no storm is too strong to withstand. This is the true China social trends. We should return to putting family at the center, cultivating morality as the foundation, and allowing every individual to find lasting happiness. So, what do you think? Was the man's decision to cancel the wedding at the last moment a wise move to preserve his dignity, or was it too extreme and lacking in forgiveness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more heated discussions. Oh, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.